Hello, family and friends. Hope all is well. Hope you've had a wonderful and safe Memorial Day weekend. And it's your cousin Keith here sitting down. We're just going to chit chat a little bit today. Again, I wanted to use this episode to encourage you. I'm noticing that there is kind of a scarcity of this. That's people are not, encouraging one another like we should be. So I want to take the time, 12, 13 minutes that I have just to encourage you, to make you feel good about your achievements, feel good about what you've accomplished. And that, I was thinking about this morning. You're good enough. You are good enough. And I also want to recognize all of you that's put your hearts on the line for so many at this age. So as I was thinking and contemplating about it, I was wondering why it is that when we get to 50, we have a tough time of celebrating, a difficult time of celebrating ourselves. Why is that? We've worked hard, a bunch of us. We've sacrificed for many, if not for most. And it's okay to kind of take a step back, smell the roses, not in an egotistical, narcissistic way, but to say, you know what? At this age, I've accomplished a few things. I've even noticed this with my students. I hear it, or I don't hear it enough about individuals in their immediate vicinity expressing the pride in their success. So I'm going to ask you a question. What are you celebrating about you at this point in your life? I was asking one of my pals who made well over $1 million. I'm so proud of him. I says, man, what do you acknowledge about yourself other than, you've reached the top 1%, 2%? And it may not be monetarily for you, may not be professionally for you, but what is it that you can take time out to celebrate? What are you proud of? Again, a lot of times at this age, we just don't. We're like, oh, yeah, okay. No, not okay. You've worked hard. I believe that after 50, many of us reach our goals. We've reached some desires only to reduce them. I had some luck, this and that. And we fully don't appreciate what we've accomplished up to this point. I like to read. And I was just reading this one book by Jack Canfield. And what he basically did was, for us, what I basically did in his text was, to look over my entire life up to this point and write out all of my accomplishments. And I want you to do the same. You started out by saying, you did learn to walk, and then you did graduate from 8th grade or 2nd grade, and you did get over that first heartbreak that we've all had. I remember mine. You do remember the accomplishment of getting your first job. So with all of your achievements, if there's anything that you can get your hands on over 50 plus crowd, or those of you that are coming up to 48, 49ers, you youngsters, anything you can get your hands on, make a list of all that you have done up to this point, all that you've done to prosper. Create it, and acknowledge yourself for it. It's okay. At this moment in my life, I'm looking at where I am. I'm at the halfway point. I'll be, God willing, God said the same, I'll be 55. Oh, coming up in September. And if the Lord say the same, I would love to live around 200 years old, 9,500. So right now I'm in the middle of my life. I like to say I'm Cousin Keith 2.0, the new version of me, and I believe for me, this is only the beginning. I was talking to one 50-year-old. He was just like, man, I've reached the summit of the mountain. Like, no, my dear brother, we just getting started. We only halfway there. We're only halfway there. There's so much more for us to do once we cross the 50 mark. And I want to encourage you all. Again, Keith Woolridge 2.0. I've reinvented myself. I've taken a look at where I'm at. There's some things I really, really want to accomplish. Granted, when I got out of college in 1990, I had this grand expectations of my life. But I'll be honest, a lot of things didn't go as planned. Really after the death of my father in 2010, family, life for me was wearing me out. It was wearing me out. I exhibited tremendous losses, tremendous pain, tremendous suffering. And I'm sure for some of you, the same can be said. But also at the same time, there's been some major accomplishments. And I want us to celebrate those because after 50, we could become our best selves. We can still have an impact on the world. And one of the ways that we may be a light into this world is to celebrate ourselves, to acknowledge ourselves, to hoot and yell about our accomplishments up to this point. And for some of us, it may push us to do more, to show up in a way that energizes us, to add value to our lives, to celebrate one another, to acknowledge one another, not in a way and talk about ourselves in a way that drains and humiliates one another, each other, I should say. I look into my life and myself and others, and Lord knows, like I said, I've went through a lot. I've experienced so much pain. But out of it, I've grown as a part of it as well. There's some dreams I had. Now, they're probably not going to come to pass, but there are some new dreams that I have. I'm smarter. I'm wiser. I know what to do now. I'm not so much worried about the opinion of others as I used to be in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. If I'm still worried about the opinions of others, I'm going to always be worried about the opinions of others. So if that's the case, you just might as well dump dirt on me now. I really don't care. I really, really don't care. So no, now is the time for us to take a look at ourselves, because we know that life at this age, or I should say all age, requires bravery. It requires guts. We know what it takes now. Again, Lord knows I have my flaws and I don't pretend to be someone I'm not. I would like to believe now at this age, I'm tough. I'm fearful. I'm also loving. I'm also demanding. Sometimes I can be deep, sometimes too deep. And then sometimes I can be very, very superficial. But there's one thing I think you all can say about me is I talk about me. I'm dedicated to the truth. Even when it may cost me some acquaintances, I will stay dedicated to the truth. And I think that's very, very important value that I have for myself. So I'd ask you, what value do you hold true to yourself? Again, I want you to look at your accomplishments. I've been blessed. We've been able to reinvent ourselves. Don't worry about the cat. Yep, right there. That's the thing about home podcast, video cast. Y'all can see what's going on in the backdrop, but that's all right, as I interrupted myself. But think about it. As we go through life and talk about acknowledgement, again, I want you to consider yours as well. Again, going over the list of things that made your life, I'm sure there's things that went well, some things didn't go as well, but think about it. If you got children that are doing well, it was funny. I love watching social media and watching the friends I went to high school and college with. Now kids are graduating from high school and college. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And those of you that are instructors, you're probably kids that you had are now kids in your classroom. Beautiful thing. So you've had an impact. You've had a positive impact. Think about this, just a ripple effect that you've had on your students, on your colleagues, especially been teaching over 20 years. You're probably seeing that next generation. And there's something about being an educator that I am learning is so very, very important. As we get older, hopefully we're past on comparing ourselves to one another. Others people's creations, aren't supposed to be your creation, family. That's stop making comparisons between my creation and your creation, your neighbor's creation. Let yours be what God has called yours to be and not someone else's. As I look back, 5 Pillars was written after I turned 50, and it's in parts of the world I never thought I would reach. This is my second impact, second chance at a podcast. Failed at the first one, but I'm not going to quit. As you know, I have this goal of, or maybe you don't know, of impacting over 10 million people in the world before I go home to be with the Lord, both with what I write, what I say, those I teach, those I come across, that I leave a positive influence on people. So that's my rest of the year goal. What's yours for the next 40 years that the Lord has given you? What do you want to work on? Some of you, it's not too late. Some of you got right out of high school. You had to go directly to work and you've always wanted to go back to school. Go. You're going to be 1 year older anyway if you don't go. You're going to be 1 year older without the degree. So you might as well be 1 year older with it. Again, not only self-satisfaction, but also your family, your friends. You could be an inspiration to many, many others by the dedication that you put in towards you furthering yourself. Again, starting a business. Some of you have entrepreneurial aspirations of starting your own company. Go for it. It's all right. Go for it. Oh, keep 50 years old. Oh, man. No, yeah, you are. Yeah, it's a risk, but everything's a risk. But without the risks, family, there is no reward. So I want to encourage you. It ain't over for us post 50. If there's something you want to do it. I would suggest to you, you're wiser and smarter now. You have a vast network now. You know who to call now. Yes, it's scary. That's all right. Do it scared. That's what I want to encourage you to do. Do it scared, but do it. Because you may have the cure. You may have the gift. You may have the words. You may have the book that will change someone else's life. So again, go for it. And I will say this, if I can do it, if I can write a book, if I can do a podcast, if I can go back to school, all of you can. If this boy can do it, a lot of you are so much more talented and gifted than I am. I know you can. So again, this podcast is to encourage you. Just start where you are. A paragraph a day. Go visit. Call me if you got a business idea. You all know how to reach me. You know how to do that. It's not too late for you. It's not too late for you. So again, I don't want to hear, man, I'm 50 years old. I'm too old. No, you are not. The title of this video cast and podcast is Life Begins at 50. So I'll make a promise to you. I will continue to push myself and do as much as possible if you will go against your own grain and push yourself. Because there's still some fuel in the tank. Yeah, I know gas is $6 a gallon. That's all right. We just earned $7 to pay for it. We think differently. We move differently. We encourage each other, and we strengthen one another. So take the time. Go for it. Won't hurt you. You're going to be 1 year older with or without it. So you might as well be 1 year older with it. Well, that's the end of my time. I thank you all for yours. Remember, life begins at 50. We only halfway home. All right now.